Hello everyone, welcome to my tutorial number 2. Inside our buildereditor.cs, in our previous tutorial, here we have a code, not width, that has multiple different values. This line of code is actually useless because in our previous tutorial, our slider, the width, the height, and the length always have one single value. You can see here. Because we changed the value of width and height and the length only by holding this slider. So this value cannot have multiple values, which means this line of code is always true. In another word, this line of code, this function will be executed for infinite of time. Same thing goes for height and length. So this code is actually it's very scary because I don't know that this function will be run infinite of time. So I have to find the correct way to do that. The reason why I wrote this code is because I follow a tutorial on Unity. I thought that this chunk of code is for the purpose of executing this function for one time only if the user pulls that slider. But this is not true, because this is always true. So this function will be run infinite of time. Here's the method I found. There's one function called editor GUI that changes scope. If we write down this function in this way, it will update the value of check.change to true if one of these sliders is pulled by the user. So this is what I want. Whenever the user pulls one of these sliders, this boolean will be set to true, so that this function will be executed for one time. When this function has been executed, then the check.change will be set to false. So here's my solution here. That's it. So I started off by modeling the props for my building. This is my balcony. The way I make this balcony is by using a function called difference is inside the buildings. Let me give you an example. First, we pull a cube, and we pull another cube. Then we select both of these cubes. Then we call this function difference. You can see that the first cube is cut by the second cube. So same thing goes for this balcony. And this is the double windows awning, the overhang of that building, of that window. And the way I make this is by creating a cylinder here. Then I cut this cylinder into a quarter, and then I simply just extrude this quarter of cylinder, and here we have it. And this tower is created by two curves. I first of all just change my view to left view, and then I create curve tool, and then I select EP curve tool here. Then I just create a curve by using the mouse, and then I change my view to perspective, and then copy this curve. So I have two curves. Then I just select these two curves, and then use this function called surface loft by use some custom setting. Here it is. The default setting of this function is the NURBS. It will output a geometry using NURBS, but this is not what I want. We want polygon, so we have to select polygon, and that's it. And it will create the surface that connects these two curves. Here it is. So once we've done that, we need to extrude this tower. So like this. Just hold Ctrl and press E, and we will extrude this tower. You can see here we have the thickness for this tower, and that's it. So this is our tower. Okay, let's take a look at this door handle here. The way I do make this door handle is by using the curve, but it is not the same as the tower, because this curve is actually more complex. And the first time I made this door handle is by using the same method I used for the tower, but then I found a problem here because this is too complex. So we will bump into some troubles here. So first I create the surface, planar surface of this curve, like this, and then I extrude it. Hold Ctrl and press E, extrude. Then you have it. Then you have this door handle. Okay. Next thing you will do is to assign UV for your 3D object. The method I use most of the time is to use this function called automatic. This function is very useful. It will assign UV for your 3D object automatically. This function can be used for some very simple object. In this tutorial, my objects are very simple, so this function can be applied to most of the objects. You can use planar or cylinder for your choice. Like the tower here, I use the planar projection for this UV because the pattern of my tower is lines. It has lines on it, and then the faster way of doing it is just use the planar projection. After finish modeling, we can start to create our procedural building. In our previous tutorial, we have created this procedural block by pulling the slider. We can change the width, the height, and the length of our building. So the next thing we want to do is to place the props on top of this building. And I have already done that. You can see there is a button here called Place Props. So I just hit this button, and you can see it will generate all the props on this building. And let's zoom in. You can see these towers here. And these towers are also random. It has 3 different colors, 3 possibilities. And it also has a chance to not to spawn. So like this tower cannot be spawned. This tower is not spawned. So that's about it. Here's my code for generating the Renton tower. For example, this is the balcony long rod. This is the close horse of the tower. And it has several towers hanging on it. So in the code, I just loop through all its child and randomly generates a number. When this number is greater than 0.8, then I destroy that child, which means the spawn rate of the tower is 0.8. Else, I will randomly assign a material for the tower. Right now, I have 3 different material for that tower. So here is my code. There is a function called placeProps. It will be executed by pressing this button here, placeProps. Okay, so the first thing I just create an array, and then the size of this array is this. This is just the total number of the faces of that building. And then we have 8 different props for our building. So I random generate the number from 0 to 8. And the 0 represent the emptiness, and 1 is the long balcony. But there's a problem for the long balcony, because the long balcony is bigger. So when there's another prop here, then the long balcony will intercept with these props. This is not good. So the code here, I want to clear all the value that is adjacent to the long balcony, which is 1. So when I plus 1 is not 0, then I want to set it to 0. I want to clear all the adjacent props that is adjacent to the long balcony. Okay. Then this for loop is for the placing props. When AI is equal to 1, then I just run this if statement. When I is smaller than this, then I place the props accordingly. This one is represent the back face of that building, and this is the front face of that buildings, and this one is the the left side of that building, and this is the right side of that building. And I just initiate the plots accordingly. This is the long balcony, and this is the door. I give each of these balcony a door. So this is reasonable because every balcony has a door, right? Then this is for the air conditioner, and this one is the balcony show with door. They are very similar, just with some minor changes, like this one, this number, and the offsets. That number is the offset of that props, and it can be varied from object to object, like this. The offset for this jury sign is negative 3.6, and the one for the shore balcony is negative 0.38. So it's just some minor changes. Okay, this is window shorts, and this is the sign, the 包子 sign, and this is the double window. Okay, so this is all my code. And finally, I design a button for removing the props. You can see here. There's a button called remove props. Just click that and it will remove the props. But one thing I don't know about is that I cannot remove all the props in one time. I don't know what is happening because I already loop for all its child and then destroy all the child. But when I place a part and then I want to remove it, you only remove half of it each time. I don't know what is happening. So if you have the answer, you can comment below. Okay, and I actually have done some minor changes in the previous tutorial. Here we have this unwrapping generate second UV set here. This one is for generating the line map of the object. Because I am planning to use the static line map for my skin. So when I finish placing these props, the last thing I will do is to check this line map static option here. But this option is quite dangerous because the amount of props on this building is quite significant. It has huge amounts of props here, and the windows, the texture of the window, I use the emission texture here, so it will grow. And then if I check this option here, the line map static option here, then it will start to compute the light map for all the children for building and for his children and the children of the children. So it takes quite some time to calculate that lighting. So, but I want to show you the final result. So I just click it. Go ahead and click it. Here's the final result. It took me 15 minutes to compute the lighting. And you can see there are many details that you can look at. I use the post-processing for this scheme. Here is the darker side of the building. You can see the windows and the sign are glowing. So that's about it. Here's my post-processing setting. This is fog, and this is anti-aliasing, and this is ambient occlusion. This is motion blur, and this is my eye adaptation. And this is boom. And this one is very crucial because it gives me this kind of effect, the glowing effect. So when I turn this on, it will tweak the amount of effect, the amount of glowing effect that this object have. So this one is very crucial. And here now we have the color grading. This one is a tone mapper, and it changed the overall color of the skin. And this is the vignette, and this is just the boundary of the view. You can see there are some the edges of the view is black, and this is the vignette effect. In the next tutorial, I will be doing the first floor of the building, like this. I actually searched on a Wikipedia page. This thing is called veranda, and it looks like this. And it is the overhang of the first floor. So, like this. This is the overhang of the first floor. And right now we only have finished the second floor and above. I want to have the first floor for this building because we don't have balcony on the first floor, right? So I need to create a veranda for my building like this. Okay, that's about it. Thanks for watching my tutorial.